Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to have a look at this question. The question is, solve the following exponential equation, giving the answer correct to three significant figures. We have 2 raised to 2x minus 2 raised to x minus 6 equals to 0. Now, how do we solve this exponential equation? Now, this is what we shall do in solving this exponential equation. This equation can be rewritten as 2 raised to x, then bracket raised to 2. Now, 2 raised to x, close the bracket, raised to 2 is just the same as 2 raised to 2x. I have only applied the laws of indices. This is the law that I have applied here. That is a raised to m, then raised to n is the same as a raised to mn. So, from here to here. So, there is no difference between this and this. And also, there is no difference between this and this. And therefore, I have only applied the laws of indices to write this one in this form. Then from there, we have minus 2 raised to x minus 6 equals to 0. Now, since this one and this one is the same, we can say let 2 raised to x be, let's say, y. And therefore, if I rewrite this equation in the form of y, then we shall have y squared, because instead of this we shall have y. Then minus y minus 6 equals to 0. Now, this is a quadratic equation, and we can solve it using a factorization method. And by factorization method, the sum is -1 and the product is -6. Which two numbers, when you add, you get -1, and when you multiply them, you get -6. The two numbers can be -3 and 2. And therefore, we shall have, that is y squared, then instead of minus y, we shall have minus 3y plus 2y, then minus 6 equals to 0. Now, I can group these two and also these two and factor out the common term. The common term here is y. If I factor it out, then I will have y minus 3 inside the bracket. Then the common term here is 2. And therefore, if I write 2 outside the bracket, then I will have y minus 3 inside the bracket, then equals to 0. Now, in this case, we shall have y, this y, plus 2, then y minus 3 equals to 0. Now, from here, we can say y plus 2 is either 0 or y minus 3 is 0. And therefore, in this case, the value of y is either -2 or +3. And therefore, in this case, we have the value of y as either -2 or 3. But we had let, we had let 2 raised to x. That is 2 raised to x equals to y. Now, since 2 raised to x equals to y, that means we shall have either 2 raised to x equals to -2 or 2 raised to x equals to 3. Then from there, we need to solve for the value of x. Now, for us to solve for the value of x, we introduce logarithms on both sides. And if we introduce logarithms on both sides in this equation, because we shall have this one and this one, let us introduce for this one first. So if we introduce for this one, then we shall have, that is, the logarithm of 2 raised to x equals to the logarithm of negative 2. And since this one is negative, you cannot find the logarithm of a negative number. And therefore, we ignore this one. Because it is not possible to find the logarithm of a negative number. And therefore, we ignore the value of y as negative 2. We only consider the value of y as positive 3, because it is possible to find the logarithm of a positive number but not a negative number. And therefore, we ignore this and we move with this one and this one. Now, in this case, we ignore this and we only consider this one. And we say that we had let 2 raised to x as y, and therefore our 2 raised to x will be 3. We are only considering this. And therefore in this case, for us to find the value of x, then we shall introduce logarithms on both sides. And therefore, if we introduce logarithms on both sides, then we shall have the logarithm of 2 raised to x equals to the logarithm of 3. Now, from the laws of logarithms, we can remove this power and put it behind the logarithm sign, and therefore we shall have, that is, x log 2 equals to the logarithm of 3. Since I need x only on this side, then I have to divide by the logarithm of 2 on both sides. This one and this one cancels. From the calculator, our value of x will be, if you insert the logarithm of 3 divided by the logarithm of 2 in the calculator, then you will have approximately, that is 1.58496250. But we were told to give the answer to 3 significant figures. So to 3 significant figures, the value of x will now be approximately 1 point. We only count this value, this one and this one, that is 1, 2, 3. And therefore it will be 1.58. That is to 3 significant figures, because the number that is behind 8 is less than 5, and therefore there is no addition of 1 here, and therefore we shall only have 1.58 to 3 significant figures, and that is the final answer that we shall obtain.